Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Legend of Nat 1. It is I, Germán, your DM, and that one chunky fella in the corner eating a honey bun. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi, I'm Shane. I play Sylas Cantor. He's a sugar baby and a wielder of a rainbow bladey.
That rhyme killed it, dude. Like, great. Love it.
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm the voice of Quitana, the Gitzerai cleric of order, and she might look mean, but that's just because she is.
Very true.
And today we have the honor, the pleasure. Honestly, I couldn't be happier that this person is joining our team. He is the Ukrainian babe you never knew you needed. Pavel, hi.
Hi. I don't know that I'll ever be able to live up to that introduction, but I'm Pavel. I will be taking up the role of Valen, and I'm very excited to be here.
We're excited to have you, Pavel.
I'm excited that you're excited.
It's circular excitement.
Quitana will be excited as long as you follow orders.
So for those at home who don't know us in real life, Pavel has been a part of our gaming group since pretty much the very beginning, back in the early 2010s. He's a very great role player and such a creative person. I am so happy that he had the opportunity to come along this trip with us. You're gonna love him as much as we do. But before we get to know a little bit more about his character, let's talk about what's happened recently in our game. Shane, wanna give us a quick recap on your end?
Oh, okay. So if I recall correctly, Sylas was in the middle of a very bad day. Both of his friends are now long gone. Randall literally ran away in the middle of the night. Rufus led a giant cactuar away from me and potentially saved my life. And then I was met by Quitana, who is, we'll just say that she's intimidating. She speaks softly and carries a big stick, and then doesn't always speak softly.
She's very enthusiastic about having a new subordinate.
Well, you need a new subordinate, if I remember correctly, because your old subordinates rebelled and tried to murder us.
Well, sometimes, when you have employees or subordinates or, peons, however you want to put it, they don't quite understand what you're trying to get done, and they decide to rebel, and then it's your responsibility as leader to quash that rebellion like it's a grape underneath a horse's hoofs and utterly obliterate it, which is why she doesn't have those old subordinates anymore. They befet tragic accidents with her mace, and
yes,
now
accidents.
Now Sylas is filling that void, so thank you.
We'll see how that goes. But
Classic.
So after this unlikely duo met up at at the gate of the granary, they had some fun with the most amazing, musical, talented, eat it, throw it up, one of a kind door puzzle. And they did some downtime.
It was a Birdman behind a video screen.
They went into the vault. They shopped for the seats they needed for the community. They did some downtime. They leveled up.
Quitana outfitted me with a lovely new sword because she's decided to be my sugar mama, or she says commanding officer. I see here sugar mama.
Well, you know how subordinates often do not spend their money wisely, so as a cleric of order, it is my responsibility to take care of all funds, and that will definitely include any new party members that may be joining us.
Of course.
Agree to disagree.
Not only did Quitana buy for me a magic sword, the Ariana Borealis Grande sword, which can shimmer like a rainbow when I attack. If I recall, you said that it was basically made out of the same AB stones that my husband glues to any of his drag outfits.
Indeed, it's one of those cheap stones you buy at either the dollar store or that one drag shop. What is it called? Abracadabra or whatever? Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, yeah, it's the costume shop.
The low quality is what makes it so sharp.
Fifi, you owe me for the plug.
We also did some research. We went to the library because, as a drag queen would tell you, reading is fundamental.
Yes, and you guys learn a lot about the world. You learn some extra bits of information about the war and the Titans and the cataclysm that was the last dawn, or the last fight of the war, as of now, of course. And you made a friend in Professor Fleming. He is the flamingo pattern Kenku who runs this place. But before you make it all the way out, some fun stuff happens. All right. And...
Well, so there were two things that I wanted to bring up real quick. First of all, it took so long when we were recording between sessions. We've been dealing with the pandemic in real life, and it slowed us down. I forgot all about Georgie the Corgi, and now I feel bad, because how can you forget our lovely personal assistant Corgi, who has a fluffy butt and boxing gloves.
And he's the one with this deep voice.
Frankly, Quitana forgot about this corgi because he could not march in step with everybody else, which makes him irrelevant.
I don't think Quitana's seen him yet, but...
Oh, then that makes sense.
Yeah, so he's in the FAFSA bit, Germán, and I wanted to know if I could get, like, an update for him, if these guys had any, new technology.
So, in the vault, in the seed vault, you do not find anyone with a substantial upgrade for the FAFSA bit. But if you give me 1 second, I forgot that we didn't do the stuff you would know. That was supposed to be the first thing for today. Anyways, Quitana would know about this, and if you ask her in game, she will be able to offer you some answers.
Sorry, Quitana knows about which?
So the FAFSA bit, which is like the what is it called? Like those old hand computers.
Yeah, it's like a personal assistant.
Yeah, personal assistant.
I got very confused because you kept saying FAFSA bit, and I thought you were talking about like, a bit of recording, and I was like, what?
No, it's play on Fitbit because we are very creative.
But yeah, in game, Quitana knows that normally enrollers, when they go on field trips, they get very basic AI for their FAFSA bits. But people who work in any tech field within the FAFSA army have access to upgrades that will grant their FAFSA bits, like radar-like capabilities, magic detecting capabilities, also location homing beacons. Similarly, you guys the ones that you have only send out signals, but if you get the right upgrades, you can look for things in the world.
It sounds like gosh, I gotta talk so much quicker. It sounds like we need to get these upgrades from FAFSA units themselves, not from the survivors in this place.
Correct. No one in the vault would have access to any of that.
Well, that sucks, but I don't have the power to change reality. So, okay. The other thing that I wanted to do, and I feel so bad because I don't want to hold people up, but the one thing that's been killing me about playing Sylas is that I can't munchkin him as much as my other characters. I'm usually such like a min-maxer. And it's killing me. So, but I noticed that the sword was a long sword, the Ariana Borealis Grande, and I am proficient in it now with becoming a Valor Bard. But my strength score still sucks, and I was wondering if there was a way to get like a finesse modification. I'm just gonna go back to the Bank of Quitana if necessary.
Oh yes, we must account for the fact that you have tiny baby arms.
They are average-sized baby arms, I'll have you know.
Average for a baby, yes.
Well, actually, yeah. Let's just do a quick redo on that. You go back down to the salesman who sold you the sword, and he tells you, "Oh yes, of course. This happens often. The Oriana Borealis sword is very popular with rogues and people who are more on the charisma end of things instead of brute fighters."
Does this guy just has like a crate full of these swords?
He kicks the crate under the table. No! This is one of a kind. What are you talking about?
Okay, sure.
Custom made just for you, baby. Here. And he passes you one of those. Remember, like the early 2000s, like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys. They always would do performances with those stupid little wire mics on their faces.
Oh, yes.
He gives you one of those.
Of course, I've got to be mic'd properly, so I 100% take it.
He explains that the little gem at the tip of the microphone will detect changes in your voice. And if you hit a high note pretty well, it will switch into a rapier.
Perfect.
Okay.
Your child's voice will make that easy for you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll give it a try. My dog is looking at me. He's sitting in my lap and he's staring at me like, what the hell are you doing?
This sounded a little bit like that song from Rent. That it's, I'm going out tonight. Gonna go dressed up in leather, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a sugar mama, so I better get ready to act like I'm in Rent and go sit on a street corner, earn my keep.
Yikes.
That is literally the plot of the show, though. It's like someone's boy toy for free rent.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a very I guess it's an uplifting show. It's really a very morose show.
Yeah.
I think most shows are, especially this one.
But hey, does my sword react or do I just look a fool?
Oh no, you do hit that going out tonight note, and the sword slowly thins out into a rapier.
I would also point out that you can both look a fool and the sword can change.
This is true, but in this case, I find this very nifty. Thank you so much for this one-of-a-kind sword, shopkeep.
Indeed, and as you walk away, you see him restocking the spot where the sword was with a brand new one.
Mm-hmm. There's just a bunch of E6000 and rhinestones sitting in the corner.
Yep. Also, bank clips. A lot of bank clips. I'm sorry, clip-on bangs. Because who doesn't want to get bangs?
Everyone.
All right. I think that's good for a recap, right? Are we all good? Pavel, are you ready, baby?
As I'll ever be.
All right, let's hit it, y'all.
Cool. That's exciting. Are you excited? Let's go on a journey together.
My mic didn't pick up my whispering.
Oh no.
So as you approach that same crazy lady who sells cups in the middle of the marketplace, you see a couple of strangers that you have heard about around the vault in the last few days. They are the two people that came in with a pack of Fafsen military mounts. And the female of the pair looks to be dressed as a Fafsen enroller. One, you've heard of them. You have never encountered them in person yourself, but you've heard of them. They roam the uninhabited parts of their territories, looking for deserters or looking for people who have made an off-the-grid living in the middle of the apocalypse. So this people's job is to find those members of the society and re-educate them. So you haven't heard not one good thing about them.
So it would be pretty weird to see her roaming around with a teenager or a child.
The other one looks like a teenager, close to 20, tall. Well, not tall, like average height, and seems to have seen combat not too long ago. His clothing looks a little bit ratty. And you notice as they walk away, the rat cup lady, who always was very nice to you, she always tried to hawk her goods to you, even though, rat cup. It adds texture.
I think we've established that I am a big fan of rat cups and this rat lady.
All right. So you've seen her around. You guys have chatted before. She's always very convincing with her pitch about what could go wrong. A rat and a cup? Come on.
It's the perfect combination. It just makes sense.
Every household needs one, let's be honest. And you catch her of the side of your eye, and her whole demeanor, her whole body language changes, and you sneak a peek under her counter, and you see her throwing a handful of glowing rat bones. The bones are glowing with a very faint opalescence blue almost. It's like a blue, but it's like a milky blue light.
That's interesting.
Once she throws the bones rattle and kind of like wiggle in the direction of those two people, and you see a few shapes form among the bones. And then the bones on their own assemble back into a rat skeleton and stand there kind of like a Jurassic Park mini sculpture.
What the fuck? I gotta go find out what that's about.
So when you start walking towards the rat cup lady, her cheerful demeanor and like her stupid sweet smile comes back on, and she's like, "Oh, Valen, sweetie, you're here for another rat cup? Did that one you had before it drowned, or did it get too drunk? You put wine in them, so be careful. You have to drink it fast, or they'll drink it for you."
No, Johnny's doing well. Don't worry about it. Do I know her name out of character?
Let's call her Beatrice.
Beatrice, my love, my guiding light. I wanted to ask you a question.
Well, shoot it, my boy.
What do you know about those that couple that just left?
Well, that ain't a story, but you know what? You always have been a little bit tight-lipped about your own past. How about you tell me a little bit more about where you come from, and I'll tell you as much as I know about those mysterious strangers.
Well, Beatrice, you know me. I love a good game of quid pro quo. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm in.
There was no quid pro quo. This is just a very direct exchange.
Well, that's what quid pro quo is, isn't it?
I don't know. The last few months have blurred my perception of that phrase, so.
That's fair.
So tell me, where in Carib are you from? I've met a few of you little rascals.
Well, I'm from the Silver Island of Carib. What was the name of that island again?
You named it.
Did I?
2 hours later.
I like Argente. That's a good island name.
Nailed it.
Oh, come on, tell me something. I'm sure we can make some sort of exchange here.
Okay. I'm down for a little game of quid pro quo. So I'm from an island in Carib called Argente. It's an island of tieflings, and the sands on the beach there are silver.
Oh wow, that sounds very pretty. And when did you decide to make the jump across to the mainland? It's a long trip just to come shopping, huh?
Well, quid pro quo, Beatrice. It's your turn. Tell me a little something about those two.
Okay, I'll give you something. The boy just turned 17 about 2 weeks ago.
Don't you think that lady's a little old for him?
Oh, they don't seem to know each other that well. That seemed to be a soon-to-fail association. She is way too dominant for that poor kid.
I see. First date. Ah, fond memories.
Anyways, long story short, they have taken over some Fafson military facility and they're decking it out to be an unpenetrable fortress.
Oh wow, good for them. So what was your question again?
How come that you end up this side of town? You're far from home, little fish.
Yeah, that is a long story. Well, and Beatrice, you know, I have a good feeling about you. I don't want to play any games. I'm not going to bamboozle you. I guess the answer is two-sided. Part of the answer to that question is I have an ambition to rule over Carib, to unite its people, and in doing so become a pillar, a beacon, a figure that has not been seen in Carib in hundreds of years. I want to be the new pirate king of Carib. But the other side is I'm on a mission given to me by someone pretty high up.
A mission, you say? Ooh, you do like to tease old Beatrice, don't you? Alright, fine.
It's one of my favorite things.
My turn. So, it happens that that boy has kick-started a lot of great things to come in this land. I can tell you in good faith and with plenty of certainty, that boy's future will be bright. And not just because of him or the actions that he will make, but because of the people that he will surround himself with. Wait.
Huh. So you're saying he's destined for greatness?
That's a very succinct way to put it, yes.
Okay, and now for my second question. How do you know what you know about them?
Old lady hunch, and she it's like unconsciously touches one of her pockets and you hear the jingle.
Can I roll insight on that?
You don't have to roll. You can tell she's full of shit.
Oh, good.
And before you continue, she's like, by the way, I never say greatness awaits him, but that great events will follow his path. I never said they were good, but they were bad. They're just of a large magnitude.
Interesting. Well, it's your turn. What do you want to know?
And this mission of yours, I mean, you already gave me the aperitif. Might as well bring out the beef.
Fair enough. I guess it all started 12 years ago, I think. I woke up one night. I don't know why. It was a normal night, you know, in Carib, calm seas and gentle breeze. But for whatever reason, I woke up and I was raised by my grandma, and we lived on the same island. We had a hut in the same place, and I got up. I went to go check on her, and she wasn't in her hut. She wasn't there, and I saw her on the beach, kneeling at the tide, and even from a distance, I could tell like she was talking, but there was nobody there. So I approached, and as I got closer, this being formed from the mist and the waves, and it was this Aarakocra that was floating, not flying, and it was made of, oh man, I couldn't even tell you, but it had colors in it like I'd never seen, but all of them kind of dark, kind of coming out of darkness, out of a blackness that seemed truly deep, truly terrifying. And when I got closer, I heard that my grandma had made a deal with someone called the Raven Queen, and apparently she hadn't held up her end of the bargain. And this Aarakocra, this thing, this being from somewhere else, was there to deliver, to collect, I should say. And I don't know what compelled me to do this crazy thing, but I, ran in and I told it to back off my grandma. You don't step to my grandma like that. And, that didn't end well on my part, but this thing, said that it was going to collect, and the number of souls it collected was up to me, and so I offered it a deal. I said I would take up, my grandma's quest on her behalf as long as this thing left her alone, let her live, and for whatever reason it agreed. And transferred.
Beatrice slide to the edge of her seat, actually paying attention, and for the first time ever, you see sincere interest in the things that you're saying. She's personally interested in what you're saying right now.
And as I catch that, I realized that I had forgotten myself, and I was talking way too much for a game like this. And I was like, but so, this thing gave me this quest.
But the question was, what is the quest?
Technically, you didn't ask a question.
Yes, I did.
No, you just said it's my turn.
Oh, you enticed me in your last answer by mentioning the quest. So my follow-up question was, what is the quest?
Well, the quest is to save the world.
Too vague, but I'll be more specific. Well, my turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
My little old person funny bone also tells me a few things about that woman. She, even in her soul, she is stiff as a board. And she's hard to crack, but I can see a very direct path to a decision to subjugate others for her. I see a lot of tyranny in her future, and if she is not diverted from that direct line towards evil, she will quickly lose herself in it.
Hey, Beatrice, that's not great. All of those things sound pretty terrible.
Yes, just a hunch. You know me. My knees hurt when it rains. I get visions about people's lives. It's
Yeah, sure.
Weird about that, right? Right, Valen?
Nothing weird at all. Basic, classic old person stuff.
The average.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next question?
Can you be more specific about how you're planning on saving the world?
Yes. Now my next question.
Real funny, kiddo.
Okay.
A whole a pot of hot tea in one of the mice, and the little mouse's face gets a little red, and you see it drying its brow. It's ugh, so hot.
And I take out my rat Johnny, and I kind of look around. Is there anything that I can pour into it?
She gives you some tea if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll take some tea.
All right.
So I sip on some of that good old person tea, And I say, well, what is that quest? And I kind of look around. Is anybody like paying attention?
Not really. People are, when they see you two, so what's the word I'm looking for? Involved into each other's stories. People just like walk by and leave you alone.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I kind of like look around, look side to side. I kind of lean on her counter a little bit, and I tell her, well, this guy was apparently whatever this Aarakocra was. I'm not sure it was a guy, or if it was gender specific in any way. It was probably a being beyond gender identities. Was an emissary of the Raven Queen. And do I notice anything when I say Raven Queen?
There's no specific immediate response. There's no like knee-jerk response to it. No.
Okay. And her message was, her quest was to unite the people of Carib and bring down the barrier between planes.
Now that did create a very obvious like eyebrow raising moment for her.
Can I roll insight?
You can tell that she recognized that immediately. Like she knew that was a thing, and when you mention it, the reaction she made was mostly like, how the fuck does he know about this? And then right after, she gives you a look of like, oh crap, he's real. He's for real. So she seems to be a little bit like impressed by you being involved in such things.
I see. And kind of, I guess with that, right, like understanding that she also is aware of these things and understanding that she's like also not just like some random, well, I mean, she is some random person, but she's not just a regular, commoner level old person. I kind of go to her and I say, so my turn. Where do you think I should start?
Says, well, there are two answers to that. One, the one that you expect of me, where I tell you that you have already done it. You came to the right place. You have done all your research. You did everything you had to do. And then there's the one that's going to cost you a favor, which is the
quid pro quo, I guess, right?
But if you would like to know the true answer to that, I will require you owe me a favor.
Well, in that case, how about I agree to that if you answer another question?
What would the question be?
Who are you really?
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. So we're in agreement. The moment that I tell you who I am, you have agreed to do a favor for me in the future, yes?
In trade for the real answer to my previous question, yes.
Correct. Perfect. She takes a swig of her tea and she laughs and she says, I'm Beatrice, a traveling merchant. Yep, I'm Beatrice, a traveling merchant.
Okay, Beatrice, the traveling merchant. Although I didn't ask your name or your job, I asked who you are. But if that's all that defines you, then...
See, like a very serious look, just like, nah, you're not ready to find that out yet. But what you are ready for is for the knowledge of the future for you. And
I kind of raise an eyebrow.
She pulls out her bones and like she pulled them out of the under the counter, and she starts shaking them. She's like, "What's your name?"
Valen Silverwind.
And she starts whispering your name as she shakes the bones in her hand, and the die change color a few times while not the die, the fucking bones. They change color a few times while she's shaking them, and she whispers your name in common. She whispers it in Infernal, which you recognize as the language of your people. And she says your name a few other times in different languages. That she says it backwards a few times.
I also know Celestial.
Oh, what other language do you know?
Just Common, Infernal, and Celestial.
Cool.
Also, as she's doing that, kind of like quietly and almost sheepishly, like I'm half embarrassed to say it, I go like, "You might also know me as the Raven King." But like I say it so quiet that like her whispering is louder than the way that I whisper it, because like I'm trying to make the name cool. I'm trying to be like,
slide it into the job application.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've built a reputation. You may know me as, and I pause briefly, the Raven King.
But then, after a few seconds of this, she throws the bones, and you remember in the past they wiggle the direction of the person they were being cast for, and then they reassemble into a rat when she throws them in front of you. Instead of just like vibrating in a direction, they start rattling on the board. And they start making like this like clicking noise, which increases in speed, and in like half a second, like in a snap, all of the bones assemble together into the shape of a bone raven.
Damn.
The bone raven starts floating in front of you and pointing directly in the direction that the two people left before.
Huh.
Well, there is your answer. As she puts away the bones in her purse.
I see.
Oh boy! Oh, my bones are hurting.
You probably shouldn't throw them around so much.
Look at you being a jokester.
How about one last question for free, just because you like me?
For the good old times.
Yeah. You think those two need a ship?
There is only one way for their true futures to unravel, and yes, those things require them to cross the ocean. They will never meet what awaits them if they do not take to the sea.
Awesome. I was just trying to be foreshadowing, but yeah, that's dope. Thanks, Beatrice.
Well, you're very welcome, my son. And
Mom?
no.
Oh.
Make sure you keep the rat cup alive. One day, you'll be thankful to have it.
Oh shit, you mean Johnny Depp is gonna save my life?
What?
That's what I named my rat cup.
Oh, Johnny Depp is your rat.
Yeah.
I thought you were referencing one of the movies, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck did I miss?
No, for sure. I like totally like if you ever look at the rat cup, it's wearing like a little tricone hat, and it's got like a leather pirate coat, has like a cup sleeve so that it doesn't get too hot while I'm holding it.
That's amazing. I was just like, oh, go get them. They're about to head out. Make sure you snatch them before they disappear on you.
Ooh, I know exactly the direction they're going, and there's like a staircase and this doorway that I can totally loom in. Oh, okay, Beatrice, you've been a doll. I gotta go.
Get a good catchphrase.
No promises.
All right, so Sylas, Quitana, you guys did all your shopping. You got all of your level up stuff done. You go get your mounts near the entrance to near the mountainside entrance to the vault. And as you are coming up the stairs, you see a figure with one arm on one side of the hallway and their back against the other side, looking pretty cool from profile.
Odd, I thought I'd removed his tongue, not his arm, but I suppose I can do it again if that is necessary.
I don't think that's the same person. Hello?
Well, hello. It's so good to finally meet you. My name is Valen, and I've heard a lot about you guys.
What is your purpose here, Valen?
Well, and I kind of like do that move where I flare like my cape back as I step out of the doorway, and you guys see a like olive-skinned tiefling with golden horns that flare come out from the side of his head and back, kind of like Mao from Devil is a Part-Timer. I'm wearing a red cape with like a blue undershirt and beige pants that like tuck into brown boots. I've got a couple of weapons and like this really big book strapped to my side. And I come out and I say, I have like dark purple hair and golden eyes. And I say, sorry, I wasn't listening. What was your question?
My question was, what is your purpose here, Mr. Valen, accosting us on the stairs?
I'm glad
Yes,
you asked.
It seems like you stalked us or watched us or...
Now, stalking, I do not appreciate that term. I prefer obsessively shadowed.
That doesn't help.
It doesn't. But I'll tell you what, I'm here for exactly two things. To save the world and chew bubblegum.
Oh, I was pulling my mace out. I assumed that was going in different direction. Sorry, what are you here for again?
To save the world and chew bubblegum. And I'm out of bubblegum because that doesn't exist.
I was going to ask what it was. Are you saving the world from something in particular? Is this just a general do-goodery pitch? We're good at do-goodery, and then I look at Quitana and I do that that wishy-washy hand, that so-so hand symbol. Like, we're good at do-goodery. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sylas of Cantor, don't worry. I understand perfectly what is happening here. Valen has heard of my Inquisition and has come to join, and we are absolutely taking on new members. In fact, you will be a secondary officer, and welcome to the group.
Boy, that's just so not it. Oh, man. Quitana, was it?
Yes. You may call me superior, though.
It's very nice to meet you. I will never be your underling.
Interestingly, I had someone say something similar to me before, and they now are one of the corpses outside. So I don't know if you want to factor that into your calculations, but...
I feel like this is getting combative very quickly. I'm Sylas, and it is good to meet you. Perhaps you could tell us more about your particular existential threat that is threatening the already destroyed world.
Well, all right. You're right. I apologize. That was a little bit more aggressive than I intended to be.
That was as aggressive as I intended to be, like right on the mark.
I feel like, yeah, okay, cool. All right. This is going to be a thing. Excellent. So I guess asking you guys, like, what do you know about where your place is in the universe?
I am so glad you asked. Oh my gosh, I never get to talk about this. Okay, so I was living my life,
Sylas, what about you?
So I am a representative of the community. We're a group of survivors who just wish
Gotcha.
to make it
Post-apocalyptic
together.
stuff.
And
That's not what I meant.
And I am the voice of Saint Cuthbert, the illustrious lord of order who brings all goodness and light to the land through his very specific focus on fighting against the agents of chaos. And I am his instrument here. I embody order as an ideal, and that is why you shall follow me.
Okay. Definitely the right direction, although just still so wrong about what's going on here between us. And I kind of like use one finger to like move back and forth. So Saint Cuthbert, right? I never heard of the guy, but do you know what gods are? Do you know what's outside of where we live on this planet?
Oh yes, I was a member of Melaris, one of their countrymen, and we had a big focus on religion and the gods, and that is why I am so closely connected with Saint Cuthbert's will, which is to impose order on the heinous agents around here today. That is why I will be taking down FAFSA and replacing it with my Inquisition. Thank you for asking.
Well, that sounds terrifying, but how do you know what Saint Cuthbert's, that's a tough name in the mouth to do. How do you know what their will is?
Oh, it is order. It is always order. That is who they are, and that is what I embody. Also, I did have a vision some time ago, in which he, led me to believe that me imposing order would be necessary to save the world from utter destruction, probably as a result of agents of chaos. And I should mention that agents of chaos frequently refuse to acknowledge their station as subordinate, so I don't know, jot that down. And he sent me a vision which spoke to me and told me what I needed to do, and that's why I am here.
What if you could actively talk to him or them?
Don't be silly, Valen. That is not possible. They are far too busy to speak to mortals directly. They occasionally send visions. We get the idea. We enact their will. That is how it has worked.
Aren't they dead? I heard that from my grandmother and also some philosophers.
Actually, Quitana and Sylas, the two of you throughout your entire lives, you know of the existence of gods. Clearly, Quitana, you come from a very pious or Sylas land.
We prefer the term devoted, but yes, continue.
even then, all priests and priestesses would ensure you that the only way to truly commune with the gods is to keep sending your prayers into the endless void that is the plane of the divine, and that prayers are not meant to be answered. They are just part of your religious duty. Gods have not answered any prayers for generations because they forsook what's the past tense of this? They have forsaken mortal kind because of all the sins we did on the world.
Yes, the agents of chaos.
I'm sure it was from both sides, Quitana.
Yes, both sides of chaos.
The other side would be order.
I don't follow. I think maybe you're confused about the will of the gods, but it's alright. We can clear it up later.
Well, what I wanted to say was that the way that you interact with your god is not the way that it was supposed to be, and I can change that. I was also given a quest by a god, and my job is to change the world as we know it on a fundamental way, on a fundamental level. And to do that, I need other chosen people with big destinies. And I got a feeling that it's the two of you.
How did you know about that?
I got an eye for it, kid.
Well, I find this very, interesting, potentially completely insane. I don't know how to tell you this, but whatever quest you are offering us, I do have some responsibilities back home. I've got to take care of everyone, big
Sylas.
fish, small pond.
Sylas, don't worry, I can explain. Sylas of Cantor will be leading me back to his hometown, which will be the first area that the Inquisition makes its home. Right now, FAFSA is a little crazy, too much chaos going on there for us to really build ourselves up there. So we're going to start with the community. He is leading me there. I will take control, and then we will be enacting St. Cuthbert's will. And now you say we will be able to speak to him, which sounds a little crazy, but, I'm willing to explore this option.
About this whole starting your Inquisition in my home thing,
Yes.
we really need to talk that out.
Oh, no, I explained it already. I will be taking control. This is the plan.
So, I'm going to ensure Quitana is treated for her delusions that the wasteland has obviously impacted on her, and also hopefully she can help us master some FAFSN technology. The community is very friendly and opens its doors, so
That will be the first lesson of order. You do not be opening.
Well, I was going to say, Valen, you seem like an upstanding gentleman, if not potentially completely insane. And, you would always be welcome as a friend, but I don't really know what you're asking at this point.
Quitana falls to her knees and begins praying. Dear Saint Cuthbert, please grant me the patience to deal with these agents of chaos as they fight me and fight against our order, for I know it is important to embrace chaos and bring order from within, but Lord, I would like to simply encourage them to see my way with my mace, and I know that is not the way. Please grant me patience.
Does she do that often, Sylas?
I think it's going to happen more and more frequently.
You were saying, Valen.
I'll tell you what. I kind of ambushed you guys here in this dark staircase. Probably not the best place to have this conversation. I also need to take care of some things, and I would like to take you up on your offer of hospitality. So how about this? Why don't you guys go ahead to your community, figure out the subjugation situation, and I'll meet you there. And when I get there, we can talk about this again.
That sounds like an excellent plan, Valen. You have learned your first piece of order. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in the Inquisition.
Okay. And I just kind of... my head kind of hangs a little bit, and I start walking in the other direction.
Here, let me give you the location, and I'll have the scouts be warned to expect you.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Whew. I think I look between the two of them as Valen walks away, and I just sigh and mount up on Champion.
Oh, yes, Sylas, I know what you are thinking with that sigh. He is heavily chaotic, and we will have to address that as we move forward.
I don't think that is untrue.
But yeah, just like that, you guys made a new friend. And so you pack up the seats on your clockatrices. You see, I'm learning the words. I'm learning the new words. Hashtag clockatrice.
Clockstridge.
Hashtag reading is fundamental.
Yeah, I thought it was clockstridge, not clockatrice. But I suppose they could be different breeds of the same thing.
Wait, what? It's not clockatrice? God damn it.
You said clockstridge the first time.
Clockstridge, yeah. Clockwork ostrich.
God damn it, I haven't learned the word yet.
Hashtag making shit up is fundamental.
Clock stretch. Clock stretch. Clock stretch.
I love by the way that you're multilingual and it's great showing all of the hard work pay off that you can learn a second language, because I know I sure can't. And then we go above and beyond and make even worse fictional words that are just all consonants.
Oh, what about fake Spanish drag words? I swear to God, I follow this Mexican drag show, and it's a struggle every day. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. I really appreciate you making it to this far in the episode. If you are still around, follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, The Legend of Not One. We're gonna make an Instagram because we're Instagals. You can follow us there when it's up. Just find it on our website. It's all gonna be on the website. The link it's on Facebook and on all of the podcast platforms where this is gonna be. If you have any questions, you can email us at legendofnat1@gmail.com. The 1 is a number. And you can text me. Just send me an email. I'll give you my phone number. It's cool. I'm Germán Rodriguez, and I was your DM for today.
Are we doing a full outro? Okay, I'm Shane, and I played Sylas.
I'm Rick, and I played Quitana. And remember, sub now, download the episodes now, because Agents of Chaos procrastinate.
I'm Valen, and I was played by Pavel, and Agents of Chaos is cool.
Hello there, cool cats and kittens.
While everyone is stuck inside, we hope you are safe and are able to remain as mentally healthy as possible.
There's no shame if you're just sitting on the couch or need some help dealing with the extra pressures Quarantina puts on us all.
Please prioritize your physical and mental health. We love you and we care about you.
We love you and want you to be well.
The Legend of Nat 1, background music by Kevin MacLeod, and provided by incompetech.filmmusic.io.
The Legend of Nat 1 theme by David Yarley.
This episode is edited by Brandon Lee,
with assistance by Shane Sherry. Logo by Ben Thwaite.
You can send us an email at thelegendofnat1@gmail.com. That's Nat1 with the number 1. Send us any ideas you have
for treasure, weapons, fan art, weapons,
for loot,
weapons,
questions,
ideas,
etc.
And anything else you may think of. Weapons.
We'd love to hear from you.
We'll love to hear from you. Weapons.
Yeah, I can see how that can go really poorly, but also it could be fun.
Nonsense. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Famous last words. All right, let's do this shit.
Girls, this is how Uncle Germán got crabs.
Woof.
It's fine. I named all of them. It was a fun time.
Gross.